guys, Craig from Camping NQ again, and today we're making the video that I've promised I was going to do for a while now, which is to show you all my knives. And we're going to start with the fixed blades and then we'll go on to the folders. Now these are the knives that I don't use very much at all. Some of them I used to carry all the time, but these days I don't carry them much at all. Okay, now we'll have a look at some cold steel ones first, because for a while there I was very big into cold steel. And this is their mini Tanto. Alright, that's a proper Tanto, just like the big one, only scaled down. I used to use this as a fishing knife for a while. Could do with a touch up, to be honest, but anyway. So you got the mini Tanto. Alright, I'm not going to worry about all the stats or anything, this is just to show you what all my knives are. Some of them anyway, not all of them. Next one. This is the original Tanto that started it all for cold steel. It's the original one. I've had this for many years. It is very sharp, I tell you. I even used to carry this bush for a while. When they first come out, this was all you ever saw ads for in the magazines or anything. That probably nobody remembers that. But this is a fantastic knife, this one. Yes, it could do with a polish up, but like I said, I don't use it anymore, so what the hell. That's that one there. Then I got myself the 7.5 inch. I think it was 7.5 inch Tanto. Alright, which is that one there. I've carried this out bush as well. Again, excellent knife. Feels great in the hand, good blade length. Yeah, I've got this one sharp too. Alright, sheath a little bit different on this one because of the clip as opposed to the Velcro, and you can see the difference in the guards on them, the way that's changed over the years. And to round out my collection of Tantos, I saved up for this one. This is the big one. This has got like a 12-inch blade on it. That speck of dust on it. That is amazing. It really is. You can actually, this one you can see the, I don't know if that'll come up on there, the laminate line on there, it's laminated. That's it. Again, it's excellent grip on the things, but the blade's a bit too long. So I have carried this out bush once. I don't think I've actually used it for more than a couple of test chops. Alright, but there we go. That's my 4 Tantos. Yes, that's always been difficult to get in. Alright, so my 4 Tantos. Now that leads us into another cold steel knife that's very similar to the Tantos. It's based on the same design. It's called the Taipan. I don't think I even engraved this one. I didn't. It's a proper double-edged knife. Right, but you can see the similarities with the Tanto. It's just a different blade, basically. Absolutely useless for out bush. You can't baton with it being double-edged at all, but it's a complete tactical knife. Looks like I've given it a bit of a touch-up at some stage, just lightly freehand. It's still as sharp as it when it came from the factory, and Cold Steel ship their knives very sharp. Very nice knife. You can actually see I've made a little bit of a ding right on here, putting it back. Oh, see that again? Went straight in there. The sheaths on these things aren't the greatest. They're difficult to get in when they're on your hip. So that's the Taipan. I love that knife. Costs a fortune now. Right, I think this is the last cold steel fixed blade we'll look at. Now this one, you'll spot straight away, is a sub-hilt fighter of the Bob Loveless design. I think Bob Loveless was the guy that invented it. This is called the Black Bear Classic. Now, you see it actually got a few specks of corrosion on it, which surprised the hell out of me. But It actually feels great in the hand. That's basically a polished linen micarta handle. It's one of the first micarta handles, if not the first one I ever had, and I've loved them ever since. It feels fantastic in the hand, and I imagine as a fighter it's quite good too. I have sharpened this one up, very sharp. Now the back on this one here was the one that came semi-sharpened, because you can order them, or you could order them sharpened or unsharpened. This was, I would imagine, the unsharpened one, and I've touched that up. It's not bad at all. Right, not like the main edge. So that one, these are, I think they're well over $500 to buy nowadays. Dangler sheath. Comes with a little sharpening stone on that. I don't think I've ever even taken it out. So anyway, that's that one there. Very nice knife. I'm glad to have that one in my collection. Now, what shall we go for next? Here we go. I have got one of them. This is the Cold Steel. It's a knife that I used to carry on my hip for more years than I care to count. And this is a sheath that I actually made myself, which I'm very proud of. Snowy actually designed that for me. It's meant to look like a stylized bull's head. As you can see, it's had a bit of wear, but he designed that for me and I stitched it up just to make it look something cool. That's the Trailmaster. Now, astute people will say, oh, it's black, it must have been a second. For a long time there, the seconds were being painted black. Well, I painted it black because it was getting so much bloody corrosion on it. It's the Carbon V or the Carbon 5 blade. Alright? And I got so sick of it that I painted it up. It's exceptionally sharp. For a big knife, this is razor sharp. The reason I don't carry it anymore, and the only reason, is because I had a problem with these, the Kraton grips here. Let me see if I can show you carefully. Can you guys see that there? Right, the glue, the adhesive, buggered up. You can actually, you can probably see it on the back there with the line there, see? Twists back. Okay, it's not secure enough, not safe enough to use anymore. I wouldn't trust that, especially for a bloody 9-inch blade like this. But that Carbon V steel is fantastic. I don't know what it actually was, but it's sharpened brilliantly, held an edge for ages. But yeah, it was a carbon steel and it was prone to corrosion, which is a real shame because, man, I love this knife. That's like 5/16 of an inch thick. No, I love this knife. And I'd still be carrying it to this day, but for that. There was a custom knife maker in the US you could send your knife to, which of course I wasn't going to do, but anyway, he would remove the handle and he would fit micarta grips to it based on the tang that's in there. Alright, and then you could use the thing again and it would be fantastic, even better than before. So there she is, but I'll never get rid of it because I still, like I said, to this day, I adore this knife. Right, let's have a look here. What do we got? Tops. I've got a number of Tops knives. You've seen some of them. This is the only one that I don't like. Oops, for a start, it's got a spring steel clip on it. You see that? Where are we here? I hate that with a passion. It's ridiculous. Why anybody puts that on a sheath, I have no idea. And the sheath's good. I mean, the knife's in there solid. Tops sheaths are great. It's called the Black Rhino. Everything about this knife should have been great. It should have been a great knife. Right, and there's your Rhino on there. But there's just something about it. I know people like it. I mean, the steel is thick as hell. It's probably about 8mm, but there's just something about it. It doesn't feel right in the hand. It doesn't use right. The balance is off for me. It's purely personal. Right. Still, could do with a touch up, but you see, I haven't bothered because I don't use it. You know, and I don't like that either. Because a lot of times I'm in the habit of resting my hand on there and it's just not comfortable. Anyway, but again, that's me. Listen to this. Beautiful sheath. Absolutely beautiful sheath. Now, a few more here. I used to carry this bush all the time. It's a tactical knife. You cannot get these anymore. It's the SOG Desert Dagger. Oops, I'm dropping everything today and I am stone cold sober. This is a fantastic knife. I adore this knife, even though it's got some serrations on it. 2 different types of serrations there. Lovely and sharp. Feels fantastic in the hand. It's a pure tactical knife. It's absolutely useless for in the bush. But I bought it and I didn't know if I'd like it, and I adore it. You know, a lot of times I used to go bush and just sit in the bottom of my bag because, well, you never know, you know, plus it was just great to take it out. Fantastic knife. Another sheath I made myself. Came with a Kydex style sheath. I wanted something that it would sit in and hold in. Alright, holds in nice and firm. Not fancy, but did the job, you know. So that's that one there, Desert Dagger. This is my experimenting knife. Look at the condition it's in. I don't even worry about this thing, it was so cheap. It's of course the K-Bar USMC knife. Alright, there it is there. And I gotta tell you, I beat the crap out of this knife. I used to experiment with different sharpening techniques on it, all sorts of things. You know, if I wanted to practice something, I'd try it on this thing first because I didn't care what happened. It took it all, came back for more, and even now, I mean, I've run that through the workshop. That's sharp, that's good, you know. That's excellent. K-Bar. There's a reason that Becker chose them to make his knives. So that's that one, the USMC knife. I also used to use this if somebody was going bush and they'd forgotten their knife. They weren't a knife person, they should have a knife out bush. It's the most useful tool you can have. And I would lend them this. That's that one there. Now, this is a Puma. Puma White Hunter. You can see the sheath comes apart on it everywhere. It's a piss poor sheath. But that's it there. Puma White Hunter. That's a stag handle. I have a small lock blade with the same sort of handle. It matches. I bought this. I spent a lot of money on it. And I used to take it bush. I mean, you can see the condition it's in. It's had some use. I've mucked around with different sharpening techniques on it. It's a hell of an interesting knife. It is not really any good for batoning. You can see you could really only strike up here with it, right? Here, no, it's just going to chew your batoning up, but that's a false edge, that's not sharp. But it's a nice knife, it's a nice, I don't know what you'd call it, not a bushcraft knife, but anyway. Sits in there. Absolute shithouse sheath. I mean, yes, it does the job, but it's shit. Anyway, who cares? One of the pride and joy of my collection, a John Eck Commando knife. This is genuine. I bought this many years ago. Alright, look at that. I wanted this knife for so long. I'd seen it in all the gun magazines that I was reading at the time, and I wanted it so bad. And it was actually sitting in a tobacconist down in Brisbane. You notice the handles on it? Looks very weird. The reason is it's designed to position your hand for knife fighting, which is like that. Not like that, like that. It actually comes with a book that describes knife fighting techniques. And when you put that in your hand like that, it feels natural and comfortable. And you can the other way if that's what you're doing. It feels beautiful in the hand. It really does. It's just meant to be there. Full tang design. Bit of a basher on the end there, just in case you want to bash someone on the head. I really wanted the double-edged version. Couldn't get it. That's edge and a half. Have to settle for that. This thing. I've worked on this and polished this edge over the years. You can see how polished that edge is. I've polished that up down to such fine grits. It's unbelievable. Right. Original sheath. Handmade. What does it say? Handmade in USA. EK Commando Knife Company, Richmond, Virginia, John Egg. Alright. Put that in there. Oh, I don't know if you heard that. There's actually a plastic insert in here. Listen. No, you can't really hear it. There's a plastic insert in there. It's breaking down. It's that old. The plastic is just falling apart, but who gives a shit? I've carried that bush many times as well because it's meant to be used, you know. And this is the last of the fixed blade. Oh, sorry, second last of the fixed blades we're going to have a look at. Now, this I had such high hopes for. It's a CRKT. What's it called? What's it called? I don't remember. I don't even remember what it's called. How embarrassing is that? It's meant to be an EDC tactical knife. The ABC. It's designed by a knife maker. Right? CRKT. And it feels great. You know, it sits in the hand really well. Like that. You've got different carry options. Right? There's other bits and pieces here you can do. It might have even come with a tech lock that I use on something else, I can't remember, but it's lightweight. It's an ideal little tactical knife with a Tanto. See? Tanto on here. The trouble is, I have run this through the workshop. I have tried it, I mean it's got a nice edge from the workshop. I've tried it by hand. I've tried it with the Lansky sharpening set. No matter what I do, I cannot get this thing sharp, and you want it shaving sharp. It's just, I mean, it's okay, but it's just not shaving sharp. And I wouldn't carry it. Disappointed the hell out of me because there's so many carry options for this thing. You can even carry it slung around your neck as a neck knife if you want, but what can you do? So I've kept it, of course. Right, locks in there really well. Just cannot get an edge on that. It's the most disappointing thing. Does it say what I paid for it? No, it doesn't. The tag's a bit worn off. I've had it for years. This is the final fixed blade by the looks of it, and we can go on to the folders. Remember, this isn't all my knives. This is the Fallkniven, or I've heard it pronounced Falkniven. I don't think anybody knows how the hell to pronounce it properly. The A1 model. I agonised for months before I bought this. It cost a fortune. These are expensive knives. Right. And yes, I've engraved a Latin inscription on, and no, I don't remember what the hell it says. Look at the thickness of the thing. I think it's a 6.5 inch blade. It's full tang right the way through. Again, it feels fantastic in the hand. Feels fantastic. It's laminated too. Can you see the laminate line? You can have a look, but I don't think you'll see the laminate line, which means it's got an inner core of VG10 and the outer slabs are, if I recall correctly, 420J2. These knives are strong as hell. Laminated steel is just unbelievably good stuff. And this is very sharp. Very, very sharp. I mean, it's really sharp. But there is a reason I don't carry this out bush, and it's this piece of crap, rubbish Zytel sheath. And no, it's not because of that. This thing rattles when you walk. It's shocking. And that's the reason I won't carry it. I'm looking at getting a custom Kydex made, which Apocalypse Gear will do a really nice one actually. The trouble is, of course, it's like 60 bucks shipping. Something like that for a $40 sheath, so I haven't done it yet. But I would really like to carry this because that's why I bought it. I've got the S1 too, a smaller version, which sits in my bug out bag. That's my bug out bag knife. Right, and oh, hang on, here's one. Sorry, I lied. This is a MUELLER or MUELLER. I'm not sure how you pronounce half these foreign names. Right, see, there you go. This one here I bought on a whim. I used it as a fishing knife for ages. It's a little bit dull. Could do with a bit of a touch up, but see, I haven't worried. Only a little blade. Sheath is surprisingly functional and takes a decent size belt on it. I really like this little thing. It's just crazy, isn't it? It didn't cost much at all, but I really like it. It feels really nice. That's why I used it as a fishing knife for ages. So that's that one there. And that's it. Alright, we'll stop that and we'll come back with part 2, which will be the folders.